Can we take our seats now, honorable delegates? We want to start our meeting. So please take up your seats. Honorable Chairperson of the CPM, Dr. Lucian Conan, Honorable IPPC Secretary, Dr. Lisi, IPPC contracting parties and CPM observers, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm very pleased to welcome you today to the 17th session of the Commission on Phytosanitary Measures. And at this point, I would like to take this moment to share with you some housekeeping rules. First, please note that we have a live webcast for this meeting. And as per the rules of procedures of the CPM, observers may take part in the discussion at the discretion of the CPM chair, if time permits. We have simultaneous interpretation in all 6 languages. Please use the headset provided and select the language channel that you wish to follow the proceedings in. CPM report. Please note that in line with the instruction from FAO governing bodies, individual interventions will not be recorded in the report, which will focus on key discussion and decisions. On Friday, the report will be available electronically on the IPP, that is the IPPC website, with a limited number of print copies also available. There will be 1 print copy of the English version per delegation. There will also be some copies in the other FAO languages. The draft report will be produced in 2 parts and will be available at the document desk, that is in Building A, 3rd floor, at the following times. At 10 a.m., the print copies of Part 1, that is Monday to Wednesday agenda items. At 14:30, there will be print copies of Part 2, that is Thursday agenda items. Electronic copies will be posted in advance of these times with the notification via the CPM 17 app. The files uploaded to the IPP will be Word documents to allow delegations to mark up their proposed amendments on their laptops. If you have not done so, you may download CPM 17 app, which has all the information of these sessions, including schedules, rooms, links to the documents, and notifications. If you have any problem with the app, please reach out to our colleague, Paula Sentinelli. She will be able to assist in that regard. We would like to invite you also, and invite every delegate to the IPPC to look at Have Your Say video booth. We have prepared a video booth outside the green room here, where each delegate can have what they wanted to say on issues of plant health. This is your time and your chance to say what you think about plant health in a short video, which IPPC will use for future promotions. Please head over to the video booth where our colleagues Lorenzo will provide more information and guidelines. This is open to every attending member of the CPM. We look forward to your participation in that booth. The official CPM evening reception will take place on Thursday evening on the 8th floor here at FAO headquarters. There is also a prayer room at A250 Ter. That prayer room is open for all for their meditation if needed. We also have colloque room in the FAO main gate, entrance A, and this is for codes and other important items that you want to leave there, but is open every day from 8 to 6:30. But today is an exception. It will be open up to 8 p.m. But the other days it will be open up to 8 p.m. today, but the other days it will be closed at 6. It will be open up to 6:30. For those of you who have not received their DSA, please proceed to cashier window at room D202. Tomorrow, Tuesday, from 12:30 to 13 hours. Colleagues Kiara and Ilona are there to support you in that. Thank you very much for your attention on these procedural items. I want to reiterate that the IPPC Secretariat and FAO support staff are always available to provide you with the support should you require it. With that said, please allow me now to hand over this opening session to the IPPC Secretary and the FAO Director General to welcome you all to CPM 17. Dr. Elisi, please welcome. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Arab. Mr. Chair, Excellencies, colleagues, and friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the 17th session of the Commission on Phytosanitary Measures, CPM 17. It is truly thrilling to finally see you here in person. Welcome to Rome. To officially begin this special and memorable session, it is my great pleasure and honor to hear first from the FAO leader, the Honorable Director General, Dr. Chu Denggu. Please go ahead and play the video.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to be addressing this first in-person session of the CPM since the outbreak of the pandemic. And I wish to welcome all of you and to thank you for your continued engagement and commitment to the important work of the IPPC. We are all fully aware that the plant pests and disease know no boundaries. Every year, up to 40% of global crop production is lost to the plant pests and diseases, threatening an already worsening global food security situation and impacting rural livelihood in particular. The climate crisis is contributing to the creating favorable conditions for the spread of the plant pest and the survival of specific plant disease in new areas. In a highly interconnected planet, protecting plants and plant sources is essential to achieve the SDGs, especially SDG 1, no poverty, SDG 2, zero hunger, and SDG 10, reduce the inequalities. Plant health is vital to our food security and nutrition, and the work of IPPC is more critical than ever. The International Plant Protection Convention is the sole global standard-setting body for plant health. As it sets standard for the protecting plants and their products across the borders, while the facilitating safe and efficient conditions for trading plants worldwide. In addition, the e-FATA solutions developed by the IPPC has become an valuable tool for the digitalization of plant production phytosanitary certification. with 72 out of the 116 registered countries being fully operational. Dear colleagues, the work of the IPPC complements and supports the mandate of the FAO, and is a key component of our joint work on One Health for the health of people, animals, plants, and the environment. One Health helps us to better prevent, predict, detect, and respond to the complex health threats, and the IPPC plays an integral role. As the CPM convenes, it is important to remember our common goals. 1, achieving food security for all. 2, protecting the environment and biodiversity. And 3, promoting safe trade to protect the economics and the livelihood. We must also remember that we need to work with the partners to invest in and scale up the innovation, research, capacity development, and outreach. FAO remains committed to the work of the IPPC for the transformation of our agri-food systems to be more efficient, more inclusive, more resilient, and more sustainable. And they support our collective aspiration of the 4 betters: better production, better nutrition, better environment, and better life for all, leaving no one behind. I wish you a productive session with fruitful outcomes for concrete action going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Director General, for your steadfast support of the IPPC, plant health, environment protection, biodiversity, and food security for all. We very much appreciate the Director General's leadership. Now, it is my pleasure to provide some brief remarks of my own. I am sure many of us have anticipated this important day, on which we can at last come together in person. I want to take this opportunity and extend my sincere gratitude to the 184 contracting parties, soon to become 185. The 10 regional plant protection organizations and partner organizations for your ongoing work and commitment to protecting plant health around the globe. I would like to commend the CPM Bureau for your strong leadership that ensured that IPPC's work continued despite the limitations from COVID-19 pandemic. Our work would not have progressed without the financial contributions from Canada, China, the European Union, Finland, Germany, Ireland, Japan, Republic of Korea, the United States, and the World Bank, and many, many, many in-kind contributions, partners from around the world. We very much appreciate it. Allow me to express my sincere gratitude to you for continuously entrusting the Secretariat with the work we do in support of the whole IPPC community. I would like to extend my appreciation to the Strategic Planning Group, the Financial Committee, the Standards Committee, the Implementation and Capacity Development Committee, focus groups, technical panels, and the IPPC Secretariat staff. Your diligent work and steadfast commitment to the IPPC is the epitome of the true sense of community and resulted in remarkable outcomes in the past year. In 2022, we celebrated the first annual International Day of Plant Health on May 12th. I wish to thank the governments of Zambia, Finland, Bolivia, Pakistan, the Philippines, and Tanzania, who tirelessly advocated for its adoption at the United Nations General Assembly in March 2022. This year, we are inviting national and regional plant protection organizations and each one of you to join us in the global celebration of the second International Day of Plant Health on May 12, 2023. In September 2022, the IPPC Secretariat, with the support of FAO, co-organized the first International Plant Health Conference together with the United Kingdom's Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs in London. More than 500 plant health experts from 78 countries gathered in person in London to discuss the technical, scientific, and regulatory aspects of plant health. The conference set precedents on what we can collectively achieve, including the next steps we need to make plant health a top priority for governments, donors, partners, and the wider public. Colleagues and friends, our lives depend on plants, from the food we eat to the air we breathe. But they remain under siege from pests and the impacts of climate change. We continue to lose up to 40% of the global crops, including food crops, each year from pests, which equates to about $220 billion in economic losses each year globally. A few weeks ago, IPPC Secretariat staff went on a mission to Venezuela to provide support to the National Plant Protection Organization in light of the recent detection of Banana Fusarium wilt tropical race 4. This underscores the importance of emergency readiness and commitment of the IPPC Secretariat to support MPPOs like Venezuela in coordination with RPPOs like OERSA in response to plant health emergencies. In addition to the support of standard setting, in 2022, the IPPC Secretariat launched 4 e-learning courses that will provide direct support to the MPPOs in implementing the convention and the standards. I wish to thank our partner, the Committee Linking Entrepreneurship, Agriculture Development, COLIAD, and FAO e-Learning Academy for their great contribution to developing these courses. I am pleased to report that the IPPC e-FAO solution has reached a new milestone. 3 million e-FAO certificates have been exchanged since the pilot began back in 2017. Congratulations. As CPM 17 convenes this week, we see the global plant health community taking bigger strides to advance our efforts in protecting plant health. This week, we'll have a newly elected CPM chair. We know that the new person who will take on this mantle will continue the excellent work of our past and current chairs. I wish to take this opportunity to thank our current chairperson, Dr. Lucien Kunin, whose exemplary leadership helped us all through one of the most challenging times during the pandemic. Mr. Chair, thank you so much for your leadership. We have much work ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen. We need to safeguard the world's plants so we can ensure food security for all, protect our environment and biodiversity, much like the Director General just shared with us, and promote safe trade to grow economies and protect livelihoods. We need governments, donors, and partners to coordinate investments and create synergy in innovative approaches to address the most pressing phytosanitary issues at the national, regional, and global levels. We need new initiatives, such as a global phytosanitary program that we'll be discussing later on this week, with focus in certain regions that needs attention immediately, where we can help increasing capacities and phytosanitary systems that needed to help those regions. We need our contracting parties to invest in building the capacities of MPPO's workforce, the stewards of plant health, and to encourage the next generation of plant health experts to see its value and pursue this very important career, safeguarding plant health. I urge all of us to continue raising awareness about plant health to the media and to the wider public, whose collective behavior change would make a significant impact towards protecting the world's plants. I truly look forward to our continued work as one IPPC global community and your continued support and commitment towards achieving our common goals under the IPPC strategic framework. Thank you so much. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce our distinguished keynote speakers. Lord Richard Binion is the Minister of State for Biosecurity, Marine and Rural Affairs of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Lord Binion has had a long and illustrious political career. In his current role, he is responsible for matters on biosecurity and borders, marine and oceans, and leads the Animal and Plant Health Agency, Veterinary Medicine Directorate, and the Animal Health and Welfare Board for England, and Royal Botanic Garden, Kew. The IPPC had the honor of Lord Binion's presence during the International Plant Health Conference in London last year. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to Lord Richard Binion. Please play the video.
Director General of the FAO, Excellencies, distinguished ministers, ladies and gentlemen, thank you to the FAO for inviting me today to say a few words. And please accept my apologies that I'm unable to join you in person to discuss our ongoing efforts across the globe to enhance and maintain our precious plant health. I'd like to take this chance to reflect on the successes of the inaugural International Plant Health Conference held in London last September, and in particular, its importance in raising the profile of International Plant Protection Convention globally. First, as the UK Minister for Biosecurity, I want to thank the IPPC for the great collaboration with DEFRA on this conference. Working together, we delivered a successful conference that helped to raise global awareness on the importance of plant health and elevate the issue in our own national agendas. We hope that it remains one of the legacy outcomes of the International Year of Plant Health 2020. The International Plant Health Conference was attended by more than 500 policymakers, by academics and experts from over 74 countries. The plenary sessions and symposia were facilitated by experts who represented national plant protection organisations, industry and academic institutions from across the globe. The conference focused on how the objectives and ambitions of the recently adopted IPPC strategic framework will help deliver on United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, specifically the triple challenge of plant health, food security and climate change. Recognising the critical role of healthy plants in our planet's survival, we're all on the front line of this fight now. The focus of all our plant health related activities must be the IPPC strategic framework's vision, which is to minimise the spread of plant pests and diseases and effectively manage their impacts. During the conference, delegates shared knowledge and discussed global threats to our plant health alongside potential actions and solutions to tackle them. The conference promoted key messages to the public about the crucial role of healthy plants, highlighting the importance of safe and careful trading of plants and plant products that complies with international plant health standards. There was also encouragement to invest in plant health capacity development, research and outreach activities. The conference highlighted the need for strengthened collaboration on ways to tackle global food security, the harmful impacts of climate change on plant health, and the urgent need to protect the environment and facilitate safe trade, and therefore the importance of the One Health approach. We know that an additional international plant health conference should be held on a regular basis. And this is a vision that I fully support. And I encourage delegates to consider offering to host the second conference within the next 4 years. It's vital that momentum and increased international profile generated by the conference is built upon as we address ever more urgent plant health challenges. Finally, as part of the UK's ongoing commitment to the IPPC, I'm delighted to pledge that the UK will provide £75,000 to support the e-Phyto solution and a further £25,000 to kickstart delivery of the recommendations made by the IPPC focus group on climate change and phytosanitary issues. I end by wishing everyone the best for the important discussions taking place this week, including on One Health, the adoption of international standards for phytosanitary measures, and many other critical agenda items. We look forward to all participants continuing to work with the IPPC, building on the excellent results from the International Plant Health Conference and ensuring that its legacy continues. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lord Binion. Our next keynote speaker is well known in the plant health community. Our own colleague and friend, Professor Nicola Spence. Nicola is the Chief Plant Health Officer at the UK Department for Environment and Rural Affairs, or DEFRA. We at the IPPC Secretariat had the pleasure of working with Nicola and her excellent team in organizing the highly successful International Plant Health Conference last year in London. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nicola Spence.
Thank you, Osama, and Your Excellencies and dear colleagues. It's a great pleasure to be here today. So when I was approached about a year ago to ask whether the UK would consider hosting the first International Plant Health Conference, I didn't hesitate. I knew how important it was. It was a commitment during International Year of Plant Health, and sadly, because of the global pandemic, it had been delayed twice already. So I checked in with my colleagues and said, can we do this? Can we deliver this? And they all agreed that it was a really important thing to do. And so working closely with the IPPC Secretariat and the FAO, we set about the planning and organising of this event. Have I got some slides coming up? So the first thing was the themes of this conference. And actually, Osama had some very good advice for us in terms of setting a really ambitious agenda. So we settled on food security, environmental protection, and safe trade, the absolute critical work of this group, which underpins the world food security and trade. And then we knew that we needed a compelling program. So we had to invite the best speakers and quickly organize the sessions and get the speakers to agree to participate. There's a lot of elements to a conference like this. You have to set a date, you've got to find a venue, but most important is you've got to have the right program. So we settled on 9 different symposia. We had side events, that we had a call to action amongst this community to organise the side events, as well as posters to encourage early career policymakers and scientists to, again, attract a wide range of delegates. And as you've heard, we managed to get a wide field of participants, more than 500 policymakers, scientists, and the members of the public and industry, our stakeholders, to work together. And the themes around this were very strongly about building capacity, building capability, making sure that we were looking at areas of our work that was underrepresented. For example, the role of women, so that we were able to bring together a compelling set of programs and symposia and side events. So it was a very busy time. It was a fantastic thing to be involved in, and it was great to see so many of you there. In terms of legacy, then it's really important that we identified what went well, where we can improve. So we did quite a lot of work on identifying lessons for improvement, so that we can then pass those on to whoever is going to organise the next conference. And I would encourage any of you, if you get a tap on the shoulder or a phone call or an email saying, would you be interested, then I would really encourage you to think hard about it. We managed to deliver this within about 9 months, on budget, providing a full audit to the FAO in terms of financial management, and it was a fantastic opportunity to bring everyone together. So in closing, I'd like to thank the IPPC for giving me the opportunity to share this with you today. Enjoy the rest of the week, and I hope to catch up with many of you during this week. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Nicola. I must tell you, Nicola was supposed to have a PowerPoint presentation and some technical difficulties, but I tell you, she's done an outstanding job just going by the memory. And so, Nicola, again, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. Colleagues, our last but not least keynote speaker is a force to be reckoned with. Her Excellency Josefa Sako from the Republic of Angola is the Commissioner of Rural Economy and Agriculture of the African Union Commission, working closely with all 54 agricultural ministers in Africa and regional and international organizations. Commissioner Sako has been providing exceptional leadership in addressing some of the most daunting challenges in plant health, climate change, environment, and food security. Colleagues, please join me in giving the Commissioner a warm welcome, Her Excellency Josepha Sako, who will be delivering her message via video. Please go ahead.
Your Excellency the DG of FAO, Excellencies Ministers and Ambassadors, distinguished delegates, representatives of the contracting parties, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol duly observed. It is indeed an honor to address the opening ceremony of the 17th section of the Commission on Phytosanitary Measures, holding in person in Rome, Italy. We are cognizant of the fact that the 14th, 15th, and 16th section of the CPM were conducted virtually, owing to the travel restriction brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. I applaud and extend my gratitude to the President of the Italian Republic, the Director General of FAO, and the IPPC Secretariat for their efforts in facilitating the CPM 17 to hold in person. The African Union Commission is a Pan-African body charged with the responsibility to spearheading Africa's rapid integration and sustainable development by promoting unity, solidarity, cohesion, and cooperation among the peoples of Africa, as well as developing new partnerships worldwide. Within the AU Commission, the Department of Agriculture, Rural Development, Blue Economy and Sustainable Environment, DARBE, leads the African Union's efforts to promote agricultural development and sustainable environmental management across the continent. DARBE is committed to ensure that required priority policies across and the program are established at the continental, regional, and country level in an harmonized manner, thus ensuring that Africa attains the goal and the targets set on agricultural transformation as outlined by the Malabo Declaration of 2014 on accelerated agriculture, growth, and transformation of shared prosperity and improve livelihoods. To better protect plant health, National Plant Protection Organization of Member States not only set policy and enforce control and restriction on imports, movement and keeping out of a certain plants, plant pests and other material, but more importantly, comply with the existing standards while effectively participating in standard setting session of the Commission on Phytosanitary Measures meeting. African Union member states continue to face considerable demands to enhance their SPS capacity and strengthen compliance with standards as a means to boost agri-food export or meet other policy objectives. CPM shares. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to commend the International Plant Protection Convention for its effort to mitigate the enormous damage of plant pest and disease as related to food security and nutrition. Together with global partners, the Commission continues to support African member states and contracting parties of the IPPC to jointly ensure food security, environmental protection, and safe trade for economic development. However, despite these efforts, outbreaks of new pests or spread of other to new areas has become commonplace globally. This calls for the need to continuously coordinate our joint efforts towards supporting the strengthening of plant protection system in the region. The consolidated effort will be geared towards enhancing prevention, preparedness, and early response to existing as well as new pest threats at national, regional, and continental level. For this to be maintained, it is pertinent that we continue strengthening the already existing working relationship at the regional and continental level while fostering mechanisms for information sharing. The Commission has made great strides towards initiating this process, exemplified by the effort made in ensuring that plant health matters on the continent are now guided by the Plant Health Strategy for Africa. The first specialized technical committee for agriculture, rural development, water and environment adopted the Plant Health Strategy for Africa in 2021. This was further endorsed by the 40th Ordinary Section of the Executive Council in 2022. The African Union Commission is currently in the process of developing the implementation plan for the strategy that will include clear targets and milestones, a detailed coordination mechanism, and a strategy to enhance ownership and buy-in by all stakeholders. This will further strengthen the role and function of the Inter-African Phytosanitary Council as the African Union mandated specialized technical office in coordinating plant health on the continent. IPS is responsible for advocacy and capacity building at continental level and must play a role in harmonization of regulatory and management strategy for plant pests. Further, and in the context of the CPM 17 Assembly, strengthening APEC's role as the regional plant protection organization representing all African member states. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the head of state and government of the African Union summit in Malabo, Equatorial Guinea, in June 2014, reconfirmed that agriculture should remain high on the development agenda of the continent. The Comprehensive African Agriculture Development Program, known as CADEP, is African policy framework designed to respond the target of the 2014 Malabo Declaration on Accelerated Agricultural Growth and Transformation for Shared Prosperity and Improved Livelihoods. In this regard, strengthening plant health system of the African Union member states remains high on the agenda of the African Union Commission. The Commission is cognizant and takes into account the combined impact of the various crises that have recently shaken the whole world, those tasking Africa and the globe with a priority to health and nutrition issue. Hence, importance of these CPM in discussing solutions to mitigate the effects induced by the urgency of meeting the needs of the global community by searching out for a long-term solution aimed at setting up structures and capacity for sustainable and nutritional food production, safe trade, and biodiversity conservation. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, collaborative efforts continue to be strengthened among African Union member states and regional economic communities, the RECs, in order to harness the various skills and resources of all. This is in keeping with the 2023 African Union theme accelerating the implementation of the AfCFTA, African Continental Free Trade Area. The theme was endorsed by the head of state and at the 42nd ordinary section of the Executive Council in Addis Ababa that was held on the 15th and 16th February 2023. Collaboration tools stretches beyond the borders of Africa and across the globe, with new and renewed partnership being established with various development partners. The African Union Commission is committed to ensuring that resource mobilization efforts at national, regional, and continental level do not wane. The Commission therefore assures of its support to the proposed IPPC Africa Phytosanitary Program. The strategy concept of the proposed program assures integration, complementarity, and the synergy of the African Union Commission, the RECs, the member states, through their National Plant Protection Organization, and the IPPC in relation to strengthening plant health in Africa. Finally, I urge CPM, FAO, and partners organizations to support Africa in their quest to achieving the best possible outcome for Africa to build a robust phytosanitary system that safeguards agriculture and facilitates safe trade, as well as fostering the strategic One Africa's voice in the international and national fora. More importantly, supporting and strengthening governance and coordination structures such as Africa's Regional Plant Protection Organization and the technical working groups in the regional economic community for effective coordination and implementation of the Africa Phytosanitary Program. I thank you, and I have a great and productive CPM section. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and thank you once again to all our keynote speakers. Please give them a round of applause, all of them. It is now my pleasure to hand over the podium to the Chair of the Commission on Phytosanitary Measures, CPM, Mr. Lucien Conan. Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Osama. Distinguished delegates and observers of the CPM, dear colleagues, good afternoon. I will say good morning for those listening to us through webcast. I would like to personally welcome each of you here at the headquarters of FAO for the 17th session of the Commission on Phytosanitary Measures, known as CPM. Now we are ready to begin our CPM. I would like to start with the adoption of the agenda, which is the agenda item 3. You have already received the agenda, and some of the papers are posted on the IPPC, or the IPP, International Phytosanitary Portal. I may assume that you read the document and that we can proceed in adopting the agenda. That I will give you the floor for those who would like to say some words, to add something. However, before I give you the floor, let me inform you that the CPM Bureau has made some modifications, 2 modifications, I would say. The first one is that the agenda item 15.4, which is the friend of the chair's policy, will be presented and discussed after the item 8, which is the report of the strategy planning group. So moving 15.4 just after point 8. The second point I would like to mention is that the agenda item 13.2, which is the sea containers, will be approached and be presented after 11.1, which is CPM recommendations. With that, I would like to give you the floor. I see Ecuador. Ecuador, you have the floor.
Muchísimas gracias a la presidencia, muchísimas gracias a todos los asistentes. Hay un tema que es preocupación no solamente de mi país, sino de toda la región, y es justamente cómo se ha ido regando ya la plaga Fusarium R4T. Recordemos, el Ecuador es el mayor exportador a nivel mundial de musáceas. 2,5 millones de personas dependen del giro del negocio en Ecuador, con un aporte del 38% al PIB agrícola. Es definitivamente el producto más importante, producto agrícola más importante de exportación del Ecuador, y es el banano. Estamos preocupados porque la plaga ya se encuentra en Perú, ya está en Colombia y recientemente declarada en Venezuela. Y creemos que es oportuno que se pueda incluir el tema y ver de qué manera en la agenda podríamos organizar un equipo de trabajo que nos permita prepararnos y planificar acciones de prevención, de contención también para los países que ya la tienen, y efectivamente unir los esfuerzos a nivel regional para que esta plaga no avance y en los países que ya está la podamos contener. La importancia que tiene las musáceas en nuestro país y en muchos de los países de la región es un tema de seguridad alimentaria. La dieta de los ecuatorianos está basada en el cultivo de plátano, en el banano, en el orito y en algunos otros productos de musáceas que se exportan a diferentes partes del mundo y se consumen en nuestro país. Es un tema de importancia económica y de seguridad alimentaria, que buscamos como país proponer que todo, a través de este espacio, podamos unir esfuerzos a través de proyectos y realizar diferentes acciones que nos permitan fortalecer a los países que aún no la tenemos, a la plaga, y ayudar también a los países que ya tienen la plaga. Muchísimas gracias, esa es mi solicitud de inclusión en los puntos del orden del día. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Ecuador. Proposing that we add 1 point on Fusarium oxysporum GR4. There's no objection. Okay. Dominican Republic.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Rosa La Sala, represento a la República Dominicana y al igual que mi compañero del Ecuador, secundo la solicitud que él hace de incluir el tema del Fusarium oxysporum cubetense raza 4 en la agenda, ya que es una situación regional, no porque perjudique exactamente a nuestros países, sino porque es un tema que afecta a la región. El banano orgánico, República Dominicana es productor número 1 de banano orgánico en el mundo, exportador, y en el país exactamente el arroz es uno de nuestros productos de mayor consumo, pero además del arroz se puede decir que en igual cantidad se consume también lo que es banano y plátano. Entonces, para nosotros que aún no tenemos el Fusarium raza 4 en el país, es de alta preocupación, pero no solo para República Dominicana, también es de alta preocupación para todos los países de la región. Es un tema de seguridad alimentaria y es un tema que además que afecta la economía nuestra y de los países que están cerca. Agradezco mucho el uso de la palabra.
Thank you very much, Dominican Republic. I see a flag somewhere. Sorry. Mozambique, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mozambique would like to support Dominican Republic and Ecuador on the Foc R4T issue. As you know, Mozambique is the first country in Africa with this disease, and we need to introduce some phytosanitary measures to ensure that disease are not spread to another countries in the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Mozambique. I see Nicaragua.
Nicaragua secunda, ¿verdad?, tanto Ecuador como República Dominicana, pero creo que tenemos que crear esa barrera, dado que cuando llega a los diferentes suelos hay una contaminación de 30 años, ¿verdad? Solo con erradicar, pero además que en el mundo no existen plantas adecuadas para que puedan sustituirla. Entonces sí es una preocupación a nivel de Centroamérica, el Caribe, pero también ya estamos en África y en los diferentes continentes, porque también hay en Asia. Entonces nosotros secundamos pues todas las mociones de los compañeros para poder nosotros también ser partícipes de este desarrollo. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Nicaragua. I see Cameroon, and after Cameroon will be Burkina Faso, and we try to. Yes, Cameroon, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Cameroon would like to support Ecuador and the Dominican Republic and Nicaragua and Madagascar for the agenda item that is being asked. That's to include discussion on Fusarium TR4. Cameroon being a major producer of banana would like to see and measures for preventing this disease coming into our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameroon. I have Senegal. Burkina Faso first, sorry.
Ok, merci Président pour la parole. Merci au secrétariat de la CIPV pour la proposition de l'agenda des points inscrits à l'ordre du jour. Mon pays, le Burkina Faso, ainsi que la plupart des pays de la CEDEAO, nous pensons qu'il y a quand même un point qui doit être inscrit à l'ordre du jour, c'est le point relatif à la reconnaissance de la CEDEAO comme organisation régionale de la protection des végétaux. Monsieur le Président, cette demande, elle vient quand même d'une dixième des parties contractantes de la CIPV. Donc 15 pays membres de la CEDEAO plus 2 pays, 17 pays, ça fait un dixième des parties membres, des parties contractantes de la CIPV. Nous vous demandons vraiment de vous surpasser pour inscrire au point 18.2 la reconnaissance de l'Union de la CEDEAO comme organisation régionale, afin quand même que le débat puisse se poursuivre, que nous puissions en tirer au clair cette situation. Je vous remercie.
Je voudrais remercier le Burkina Faso. Nous notons son intervention. Ce que nous allons faire, nous allons prendre pour ce point ceux qui ont levé le drapeau et nous allons revenir à ça plus tard. Merci Burkina Faso. After Burkina Faso, I have Senegal.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Je profite de l'occasion pour saluer toutes les délégations ici présentes. Je pense que ma préoccupation a été prise en compte déjà par le Burkina Faso. Merci beaucoup. Merci.
Thank you, Senegal. West, I have Burkina Faso, South Africa.
Thank you.
South Africa, please.
Thank you very much, Chair, for the opportunity. South Africa just want to support also the notion of Tropical Race 4, specifically in the African region. It is in Mozambique, as a colleague from Mozambique has indicated, and it is really a major concern for the region. Not only that already with the development of the idea of a pause focus group, it was already mentioned that this is a serious pest and we will have to find ways and get the pause action group a lot of more momentum and support from every country. Thank you.
Thank you, South Africa. I have a flag from, I see Venezuela. Venezuela.
Buenas tardes, gracias, señor presidente. Es un honor poder saludarlo presencialmente. Venezuela ratifica también como último país que ha tenido la incursión del tema del fusorio en raza 4 tropical, su interés de que este tema sea elevado en el nivel de prioridad de la convención, incluso de la FAO. Quiere saludar al secretario de la convención por ese apoyo decidido que nos ha dado como país, por tomarnos como un modelo de intervención de esto, pero pensamos que la respuesta debe ser a nivel continental y ya viendo el tema en África también debería ser a una escala más global. Pienso que es un tema que debemos desarrollar. Para Venezuela es un punto donde tal vez no somos uno de los países exportadores más importantes, pero es son cultivos de sobrevivencia donde nuestra población puede acceder a un alimento seguro, muy económico y que permite, bajo las dificultades económicas que a veces atravesamos en el país, poder dar una respuesta a su población. Así que agradecemos que sea incluido como punto de agenda importante también. Gracias.
Thank you, Venezuela. Who else? I see Côte d'Ivoire. Côte d'Ivoire, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. la Côte d'Ivoire, nous appuyons tous les représentants des pays qui ont soulevé la question de la fusariose TR4. Il faut dire que dans notre pays, c'est une préoccupation pour nous. La fusariose TR4 n'est pas encore signalée dans notre pays, mais c'est une préoccupation parce que nous faisons partie des premiers exportateurs de bananes dessert. Le Cameroun et la Côte d'Ivoire se partagent les 2 premières places dans l'exportation des bananes dessert sur le marché européen. Donc, la banane occupe une place importante dans nos exportations, produits d'exportation. Il y a également le plantain, le race de banane, qui est très consommé en Côte d'Ivoire. C'est le premier ou deuxième produit consommé après le riz. Deuxième ou troisième produit consommé après le riz. Et donc, s'il y a le TR4 dans notre pays, cela va affecter considérablement notre sécurité alimentaire. C'est pour cela que vraiment l'État de Côte d'Ivoire a toujours demandé que nous puissions vraiment regarder ces questions de TR4 pour que ce ne soit pas introduit dans notre pays. Donc nous soutenons l'inscription de ce point à l'ordre du jour. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Côte d'Ivoire, pour votre intervention. Congo, you have the floor.
Merci, Président. J'appuie la proposition de soumettre ce point à l'ordre du jour parce que nous savons aujourd'hui la fusariose, c'est une maladie très difficile à éradiquer. C'est une maladie vraiment, on peut dire même très dangereuse. Plus dangereuse même que les ravages de la chenille légionnaire d'automne. Chez nous, nous n'avons pas encore détecté cette maladie, mais comme le Mozambique est un pays africain déjà affecté par cette maladie, nous savons que tout autour, les pays qui sont tout autour peuvent être aussi affectés. Mais nous voulons que ce point puisse être ajouté à l'ordre du jour et puis qu'on puisse en débattre. Merci.
Merci beaucoup. Le Congo, je crois que nous... Democratic Republic of Congo.
Parole accordée, comme c'est la première fois que j'ai la parole, il va de soi, Monsieur le Président, de vous remercier, vous féliciter pour le travail abattu entre tous les membres du bureau pendant l'intercession. Et remercier également les secrétariats pour l'ensemble des travaux qui ont été menés pendant l'intercession. J'interviens, Monsieur le Président. Nous avons un point à l'ordre du jour qui touche au fléau émergent. Est-ce que ce point de fusarium va être un point à part, comme ça nous l'actons, ou il va être mêlé au point qui est, là on parle de fléau émergent. Et ça c'est important, Monsieur le Président. Ne faisons pas comme il y a 3 ou 4 années où quand la chenille légionnaire a apparu, on a pris acte, mais on a tardé à prendre des actions. Alors, la question qui est posée, c'est un fléau émergent de valeurs qui a un impact économique très sérieux. Donc, prenons acte et prenons des dispositions, puisque nous constatons souvent quand nous, on néglige, c'est la FAO qui reprend les relais et que ça échappe à la Convention. Monsieur le Président, votre honneur sur le deuxième point qui a été soulevé par le collègue de Burkina sur la reconnaissance de la CEDEAO, vous avez dit nous allons en parler. Nous allons en parler dans le point de l'agenda ou nous allons le parler dans le couloir de l'immeuble. Nous pensons que, comme ils ont posé un problème, avant qu'on l'inscrive, on peut vider cette discussion si on doit l'inscrire ou on ne doit pas l'inscrire, Monsieur le Président. Donc, est-ce qu'on doit l'inscrire à l'agenda ou on ne doit pas l'inscrire? je vous donne, mon pays a l'avantage d'appartenir à 5 communautés économiques de l'Afrique centrale, et que si on était au parquet, on dirait, Monsieur le Président, que vous êtes saisi, mais vous êtes incompétent pour régler cette question. Donc vous êtes saisi, mais vous êtes incompétent de régler une question humainement politique. Donc vous ne pouvez pas renvoyer, Monsieur le Président, la question, je vais en parler, je ne sais pas, avec les amis du Président ou dans l'agenda. Donc je crois que la CPV doit lever l'option que cette question, elle est inscrite à l'ordre du jour ou elle n'est pas inscrite à l'ordre du jour. Mais la position de la RDC, elle est une question éminemment politique. La CIPV ne peut pas traiter, comme ici nous sommes dans le pays du Vatican, là, nous imposons la sagesse de Salomon. Il n'y a qu'une ORPV en Afrique. Doit-on diviser l'ORPV de l'Afrique pour que la question entre à l'ordre du jour? Renvoyer la question à l'Union africaine qui doit la traiter. Vous ne pouvez pas aborder cette question ici. Le secrétariat ou l'Assemblée de la CIPV, elle est incompétente de traiter de la question, Monsieur le Président. J'ai dit.
Merci, Monsieur le représentant de la République démocratique du Congo. Ce que nous sommes en train de faire, c'est de prendre l'avis des délégués. Et nous n'avons pas encore répondu à aucune des questions, ou même les suggestions qui ont été faites. Nous les rassemblons et nous allons vous donner la suite ou le résultat de tout ça après. Pour l'instant, ce que nous faisons, c'est de recueillir vos propositions. Je m'arrête là pour l'instant. Merci beaucoup. Costa Rica, please.
Sí, buenas tardes, señor presidente, señores de la mesa y estimados colegas. Bueno, solo quiero ser consecuente con lo que ya los compañeros han dicho. Costa Rica es un país altamente productor de banano. La zona, yo creo que a veces tenemos que hablar con números, y la zona donde producimos el banano, el 76% del empleo de esa zona, de una provincia de nuestro país, se dedica a esto. Representa el 8,8% de las exportaciones totales de Costa Rica, el 35,8% de las exportaciones agrícolas, representa un 42,3% del Producto Interno Bruto de la parte agrícola y un 2% del Producto Interno Bruto Nacional. Definitivamente yo creo que para el planeta, en algún momento el fusarium estaba ubicado en alguna zona del planeta, ahora ha llegado también a Sudamérica y amenaza a regiones de África y de Centroamérica. Yo creo que los esfuerzos deberían girar un poco en torno a contar con recursos para tener, digamos, capacidad diagnóstica, para capacitar al personal de las diferentes ONPFs. Y bueno, ya lo mencionaron, yo creo que no es solo un tema del banano, es un tema social. Generalmente todos sabemos, los aquí presentes, que las producciones agrícolas están orientadas a zonas rurales de nuestros diferentes países, y el impacto social a la economía de esas personas, de esos hogares que llevan sustento a sus hijos y demás, pues sería serio. Así que no se trata tampoco de apoyar en el tema del fusarium raza 4 a las grandes empresas, se trata de ayudar a las grandes, pero también a los pequeños productores, que serían los más afectados, no solo en el tema de los bananos, sino del plátano también. Así que pues esperamos que realmente se puedan tomar medidas, se puedan tomar decisiones, yo creo que por el bienestar de todos. Hoy somos nosotros los que estamos siendo afectados o posiblemente tentados a que esta enfermedad pueda ingresar a nuestros países. Algún día será otro producto y será alguno de ustedes, los países que se ve afectado, y yo creo que es aquí donde tiene que imperar realmente en el foro de estas actividades la solidaridad y el apoyo para poder sustentar y apoyar a nuestros países. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Costa Rica. I just want to ask all who want to intervene to make the intervention very short. We started our adoption of the agenda. It's been some minutes ago already, and please make it short. Please. Thank you. One is Panama. Panama, you have the floor, please.
Buenas tardes, señor presidente, y a los de la mesa principal. Soy Pablo Rodríguez de Panamá, simplemente para comentar que quizá Panamá no sea el primer exportador o uno de los más grandes exportadores de musácea, pero sí constituye el segundo producto de importancia para exportación en mi país. Pero más de eso, a través de Panamá, o del canal de Panamá específicamente, transita una gran cantidad de contenedores a diferentes puntos del mundo, y en consecuencia pues los contenedores son la vía a través de la cual, una de las vías a través de la cual este hongo puede transportarse, y definitivamente pues constituye un alto riesgo de gran importancia, y más que eso también el constante paso de migrantes que se da por la República de Panamá hacia los Estados Unidos, y en consecuencia pues también apoyamos todas las manifestaciones de los demás colegas de los diferentes países que se han presentado en la tarde de hoy. Gracias.
Thank you, Panama. I have Malawi first, and then coming to Mali. Please.
Thank you, Chair. Malawi would like to thank you, Chair, and the Bureau for the good work, excellent work that you have done over the years, beside the COVID-19 pandemic that affected some of the implementations activities. Malawi would like to support that we put the agenda on banana for and Foc 4, because as a country, bananas are key in terms of bringing socio-economic importance to the country, but we are also close to Mozambique, though that we have not recorded the disease. So we support the agenda that we should include the TR4 agenda on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you, Malawi, for being very brief. The next is Mali. Mali.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je remercie également le bureau du secrétariat pour les efforts abattus afin que cette rencontre puisse avoir lieu. Donc nous remercions également nos partenaires financiers qui ont permis à ce que nous soyons là également. Ceci étant, Monsieur le Président, je voudrais rappeler que nous sommes là dans le cadre d'un document fédérateur que nous appelons la Convention internationale pour la protection des végétaux. Les termes de cette convention, nous devons les respecter. Dans aucun article, on ne parle de l'Union africaine, encore moins de la CEDEAO. Les parties contractantes ont leurs droits qui sont bien exprimés dans les termes de la Convention. Donc nous pensons que si nous demandons à ce qu'un point soit inscrit à l'ordre du jour, nous sommes bel et bien dans nos droits de pouvoir le demander. Il y a longtemps que les pays de la CEDEAO, dont le Mali, demandent à ce que ce point soit inscrit, c'est-à-dire la demande à être érigée en organisation régionale de la protection des végétaux. C'est les 15 États qui demandent. Ces 15 États sont des parties contractantes à part entière de la Convention internationale pour la protection des végétaux. Donc, c'est bien le lieu de pouvoir trancher cela. Ce n'est pas à l'Union africaine. Donc, il faudrait qu'on reste dans le cadre vraiment de la Convention internationale pour la protection des végétaux. C'est très clair. Ce que j'avais à dire, je vous remercie.
Thank you, Mali. So from all the intervention I have here for the adoption of the agenda, we have two main points. One is the addition of the Tier 4, Fusarian Tier 4 on the agenda. So this is very clear. And the other one is the request of the ECOWAS to have a point on the agenda on the request to be an RPPO. For the number one on Fusarium.
Are there any other topics? Any other items?
So for the time being, two topics have been presented here to be added on the agenda. I am just looking at the floor if we have any topic different from these two. Please, we're ready to listen to you. Any other topic? Otherwise, we remain that we have only two topics to be discussed for the. On Tier 4. So Tier 4, we recognize that it's a concern for many countries, producing countries, banana producing countries. So we think that this point can be added to a new point 15.5 under emergence is right. Okay, so this is going to be added as a new 15.5. With regard to the ECOWAS submission, the CPM takes notes of the ECOWAS statements, and all of these people, the delegates, have been talking on the floor. However, we discussed the issue, the topic at CPM 16 last year. And many actions have been taken. And the CPM further notes that meetings and discussions organized among many African member states show that the topic has not yet matured and has not progressed as some of us would like it to. So it's for the CPM difficult to include it here in the agenda. On the point, the IPPC Secretariat is inviting the African delegates this evening after the opening session for another meeting. And we think that this is the forum to further discuss this agenda. I want to recall also that it will be an update from the Secretariat on all the activities carried out since CPM 16, where this topic was brought up. So the CPM therefore note that the proposed item from ECOWAS will not be included for the time being on the CPM 17 agenda. We can discuss it later this evening. Thank you very much for your attention. This modification, the addition of the Fusarium TR4 at 15.4. If we don't have any more inclusion of the agenda, we conclude that the agenda is adopted. Thank you very much. Dear delegate, please let's move now to the agenda point 3.1. So I would like to give the floor to the European Union briefly to state for its statement of competence. EU, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, as you said, we sent a statement of competence of the EU in writing, and it is available as conference room document number 1. Thank you very much.
Thank you, EU. So the CPM is invited to note the declaration of competencies and voting rights submitted by the European Union and its 27 member states. Any observation, comment? The CPM notes. Thank you. Agenda item 4. We will now proceed to the selection of rapporteurs. I would like to ask if there are any nominations for rapporteurs. Any nomination? EU, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Sweden, speaking on behalf of the EU and its 27 member states, would like to nominate Ms. Lise Kjærgaard Steffensen from Denmark. Thank you for the floor, Chair.
Thank you, EU. Any country, any delegation to second the nomination? Sorry, I can't see. United Kingdom.
The United Kingdom would like to support the EU nomination. Thank you.
Thank you, UK. So, Ms. Lisa Stephenson. Do you accept the nomination? Okay, all right. Thank you. Yes, speak. No?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, please, I accept the nomination. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Denmark. Any other nomination as rapporteur to second Ms. Stevenson? Mali? Votre drapeau était encore levé, s'il vous plaît. Merci beaucoup. Malawi, I see your flag.
Thank you, Chairperson. I would like to propose Kenya to be the vice rapporteur. Thank you.
Cameroon?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I support Cameroon support the proposal of Malawi.
Thank you, Cameroon and Malawi. Unfortunately, we propose, I think, do you have a name for the proposal. So what's the name? Because we want to have someone. Yes, Kenya.
Melon Kabole to represent Kenya.
Melon Kabore. Okay. So, Mr. Kabore, so we have one nomination and one second. So I'm asking Mr. Kabore, do you accept the nomination?
Chair, I accept the nomination.
Oh, Ms. Kabore. Okay, sorry, I didn't know. So, Ms. Kabore, sorry. We have two rapporteurs. Any other nominations? No, so we have two. I would like to thank you for the nominations. And the following participants will be rapporteurs. It's Ms. Stephenson from Denmark and Ms. Kabore from Kenya. So they will be working with the report writers and the IPPC Secretariat to ensure that the report reflects the decisions taken during the meeting. Thank you. Let's now proceed to the next agenda item, establishment of a credential committee. The credential committee will meet during the lunch break tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday to review the credentials or information received regarding the composition of delegation along with the FAO Legal Office and the IPPC Secretariat. The chair of the committee will then report to the CPM after this meeting. I would like to remind the CPM member that the quorum is necessary to validate decision taken during this meeting by the Commission. So I call for your active participation each of the session. With that, I would like to invite CPM to submit nomination for one from each FAO region. Nomination for the Credentials Committee. So, one per region. Africa, Cameroon.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the African region, we propose Gabon.
So Africa is going to be represented by Gabon. Thank you, Cameroon. United States. That's North America.
North America.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Sorry.
The United States would like to nominate Dr. Maria Zlotina as the North American representative to the Credential Committee. Thank you.
Dr. Maria. Is that correct? Marina. Okay. Thank you, North America. It's going to be represented by USA.
Yes, we nominated Yamamoto Masumi from Japan as the Asia representative. Thank you.
Thank you, China. So Mr. Yamamoto is going to be representative of Asia in the Credentials Committee. Middle East? Egypt?
Yes, we represent Ms. Dr. Shaima from Egypt to represent NIBO in this committee.
Shalma for Middle
For
East.
NIBO, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank
Hi.
you.
Thank you.
Europe? We are missing Europe. And two more. Yes, Sweden?
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. The European region would like to nominate Mr. Federico Sorgoni from Italy. Thank you, Chair.
Yes. Thank you, EU. So Federico for EU. From Europe, yes, sorry. And Latin American, Caribbean. After that, it's going to be Southwest Pacific. Yes, New Zealand, please.
Mr. Chair, Southwest Pacific is still considering its nomination. We'll come back to the Secretariat overnight.
Overnight. Thank you, New Zealand. So we are expecting that by tomorrow we'll get the person. Thank you. Latin American, Caribbean, Argentina.
Gracias, señor presidente. Igual que en el caso de Pacífico, pedimos hasta mañana para poder confirmarles el nombre. Gracias.
Thank you, Argentina. So for the Credentials Committee, we have representatives from Africa, from North America, from Asia, from Middle East, from Europe. So we are expecting for tomorrow morning representative from Southwest Pacific and Latin American Caribbean. Thank you very much. Okay. So we have elected the rapporteurs. So I will invite the two rapporteurs to come here with us. We have room for them. Please.
Cameroon is trying to raise the flag.
Oh, okay. So we have Lisa. Lisa, please join us. We have Ms. Kabore from Kenya as the second rapporteur. Welcome. Okay, so the two rapporteurs are here. Thank you, rapporteurs. The Credentials Committee will meet tomorrow, as I said earlier, from 1 to 2:30 in the FAO Legal Library, which is FAO A451. Repeat. FAO Legal Library A451. It'll be starting at 1. Thank you. Dear delegates, yes, CPM 17, we are now moved to the next agenda item, report from the CPM chairperson. For that, I go to the yes, sure. Dear delegates, dear friends and colleagues, the year 2022 started with the presence of the coronavirus pandemic and its enormous challenges which disrupted the work program of the IPPC. Despite the travel lockdowns and other constraints due to the pandemic, we were relatively successful in advancing the objective of the convention in 2022. We are now meeting face-to-face after 3 years of virtual meetings. Don't ask me how difficult it was for me last year. I hope that 2023 will be the pivotal year when the activities of the CPM return to the old normal to better advance the priorities and objectives of the convention. Everyone's efforts have resulted in progressing the work on phytosanitary standards, among which will be submitted for adoption during the CPM session. These include 3 SPM and 1 recommendation. I would like to thank the Standards Committee members and the staff of the Secretariat for the work done over the past year. With regard to the implementation capacity development, the IPPC Secretariat continued to conduct phytosanitary capacity evaluations in countries and facilitated 7 regional workshops. Also, with the support of the Implementation Capacity Development Committee, the Secretariat produced technical training materials and guides and learning courses. These capacity building activities are essential in achieving the objective of the IPPC. My appreciation to the members of this implementation committee. Last year, CPM 16 took steps toward making operational the new IPPC strategic framework 2020-2030, 3 focus groups on each of the development agenda initiatives. These focus group works were set up and works hard. I would like to thank our contracting parties who have generously provided funds and or experts from the NPPO to support and advance these priority initiatives. The Sea Container Discussion Group also continued its work together with experts and partners in this strategic area. Here at CPM 17, we will review some of the key lessons learned so far and consider the next steps and future directions on this complex issue. Once again, thanks to Chair
Greg Wolf, and members of the task force for their efforts. Under the leadership of the government of Zambia, the United Nations General Assembly proclaimed May 12 as the International Plant Health Day, known as IDPH. IDPH is an important part of the IPPC communication strategies and its goal to improve public understanding of national and international plant health programs and the role these programs play. I thank the government of Zambia for its commitment to this project. In September 2022, we organized the first ever International Plant Health Conference in collaboration with the Department of Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, the DFRA, of the United Kingdom. Over 500 policymakers, academics, and experts from 74 countries gathered in London, and current and future plant health challenges were addressed. All my appreciation to the IPPC Secretariat and the DFRA organizing team. I would like to end my thanking to my colleagues in the Bureau for their active engagement, for their diverse perspective and support over the past year. My colleagues of the Bureau are Mr. John Greifer from United States, representing North America, Mr. Fushan Wang from China, representing Asia, Mr. Peter Thompson from New Zealand, representing Southwest Pacific, Mr. Sam Bishop from the United Kingdom, representing Europe, and Mr. Ahmed Kamel Altar from Egypt, representing Middle East. And Mr. Francisco Javier Arriaga from Mexico, representing Latin America and Caribbean, who has been replaced by Mr. Diego Quiroga from Argentina. I would like to especially thank Javier for his long years of service to the global phytosanitary community and his service to the Bureau. And I would like to welcome Diego as the new Latin American and Caribbean representative to the Bureau. It was a great pleasure to work with you and to have benefited from your immense experience and expertise. Finally, I wish to address my sincere thanks to all of you, members of the Bureau, Secretariat, representative of contracting parties, in bodies, in committees, in groups of experts, in working groups, etc., of the IPPC, for your advice and support and guidance over the many years we have spent together advancing our common plant health goals. Thank you very much. I was saying that I'm back to my seat, and we are continuing on our different agenda points. Point number 7. Oh. So any comment? Please. Yes. European Union, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the EU and its 27 member states, I would like to take the opportunity to express our thanks for your work and leadership during your term of office. Let me also wish you all the best and success with this session of the CPN. Thank you very much.
Thank you, EU. Yes, Senegal and then Kenya.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. En tout cas, la délégation du Sénégal se félicite d'abord du rapport présenté par Dr Kwame, qui a travaillé effectivement dans des conditions qui n'ont pas été du tout faciles avec la pandémie de Covid-19. Malgré cette contrainte, des activités ont été tenues. À aucun moment, on a senti en tout cas une rupture relativement aux réunions virtuelles, les réunions des groupes de travail et les comités techniques, etc. Donc un bel exemple de résilience, en tout cas, de la CMP. Et différents sujets d'importance ont été abordés dans le document 2023-04, comme le commerce électronique, le financement à long terme de la solution e-phyto, la sécurité phytosanitaire des aides alimentaires, la gestion des conteneurs maritimes en tant que véhicule d'organismes nuisibles dans le commerce international des produits agricoles. Alors, nous vous félicitons infiniment, en tout cas, d'avoir fait tout ce boulot pour la communauté phytosanitaire. Merci beaucoup et félicitations à vous et aux membres du secrétariat. Merci.
Merci Sénégal pour ces mots très gentils. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Merci.
Thank you.
Kenya, yes, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Kenya notes the CPM report and wishes to extend its appreciation on its behalf and on behalf of Africa to the CPM chairperson on the support received that ensured smooth operations amidst the COVID-19 disruptions. Kenya and Africa are grateful to have participated in the various fora, including the CPM 16 Standards Development Committees, Capacity Development Projects Implementation Programs, undertaking of the phytosanitary capacity evaluations, among others. Kenya and Africa are fully supportive of the implementation of the IPPC Strategic Framework 2020-2030. Through its realization, areas of co-interest to Kenya and Africa, like climate change, pest outbreaks alert and response, long-term financing of e-phyto, among others, would be implemented. We also pride that one of Africa's countries, that is the government of Zambia, took leadership in the successful celebration of the first International Plant Health Day, where a series of activities aimed at creating awareness and capacity building on plant health matters were undertaken throughout Africa. We look forward to continued cooperation and support to African countries to enhance their participation in future plant health activities, to enhance capacity, foster inclusive standard setting, experience sharing, and access to opportunities. Sincere thanks to the committee from the Republic of Kenya and the African continent for the continued support they have been giving. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenya. Niger, vous avez la parole, s'il vous plaît. Madame.
Oui, merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Monsieur le Président, comme c'est la première fois que le Niger prend la parole, je remercie tous les membres du secrétariat ainsi que tous les donateurs qui m'ont permis de participer à cette 17e commission des mesures phytosanitaires. Monsieur le Président, la délégation nigérienne, au même titre que le Sénégal, profite de l'occasion pour féliciter le Président pour son travail et ses réalisations. Nous le remercions également pour son soutien à toute la région d'Afrique de façon générale et de la CEDEAO en particulier. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président.
Merci Niger, merci pour ces mots. Guinée? Guinée? Yes. La Guinée, vous avez la parole.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Merci à tout le bureau, spécifiquement au secrétariat. Je ne voudrais pas rater cette occasion. C'est ma première fois de participer. Je viens d'arriver à la tête des affaires. Monsieur le Président, à écouter votre rapport, on est comblé, quand bien même on vient d'arriver. Et comme vous l'avez dit, le temps de Covid a posé ce que ça a posé comme problème et tout le monde en est témoin. Mais malgré tout, vos efforts et votre courage n'ont pas manqué pour répondre bien aux problèmes qui se posent, qui sont les problèmes de nuisibles, qui est un problème de tous. Et je voudrais vraiment vous remercier pour tout ce que vous avez fait pour l'Afrique en général et spécifiquement au niveau de la CEDEAO, quand les temps étaient très difficiles, pas de déplacement, nous vous restons reconnaissants et nous vous disons chapeau pour votre rapport qu'on est fiers avec. Et nous continuons à demander votre soutien pour l'avenir. Encore félicitations au secrétariat de la CIPV. Merci pour la Guinée.
Merci beaucoup, la Guinée. With that, I would like to thank all the people who intervened and note that the CPM notes the report. Thank you. The next agenda item is the number 7, report from the IPP Secretariat. The IPPC Secretary, Mr. Osama Lisi, will provide the update. Osama, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I wanted to just echo all the feedback from our colleagues across the globe for your leadership and being the chair for the entire community over a very important, very difficult time. But in spite of all that, you've led us and continue to do so, and for that we thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues and friends, it's my pleasure now to provide a report on the IPPC Secretariat. So to kind of organize the report a little bit, basically there are a few things that I would like to underscore. One is that the Secretariat certainly focuses on the core work of the IPPC, as stipulated in the IPPC strategic framework and agenda items, including, of course, standard setting, implementation and facilitation, integration and support, and e-FIDO. These are the core work that we do that we support in IPPC Secretariat. But then also internal management, including some things we're doing within the Secretariat to bring about efficiencies and effectiveness and support you and serve you to the best of our ability. So we'll talk to you about that a little bit. We'll give a couple of updates as a follow-up from CPM 16, and then a couple of future initiatives that we'd like to update you on, and then lastly, resource mobilization, all of which, again, brings about optimum IPPC in terms of consistency, focused, and effectiveness, being able to adapt and flexible to deal with issues. You heard this morning this afternoon about TR4. And we have to have the flexibility and the ability to go out and support you in responding to these kind of pests and diseases that are of significance. So our mission is basically protecting plant resources and facilitating safe trade. These are the two things that we do together: protection and facilitating safe trade. So with that, starting with the standard setting, as you know, within the Secretariat, we have the standard setting unit led by Mr. Avitek Nersessian, who is the unit lead. And as you know, we now have a new chair from Australia, Sophie Peterson, who's been selected as the new chairperson this May in 2022. A lot of work has been progressing quite well, or has progressed very well in 2022. So technical panel of phytosanitary treatments met. I had the pleasure of meeting with them here in Rome. A lot of very important work. Technical panel diagnostic protocols, technical panel commodity standards, been a lot of discussion on that, a lot of accomplishments. Technical panel of glossary. So we are progressing very, very well in all these areas. 3 expert working groups met, including one to draft text on the use of specific import authorization, and another one on developing annex to ISPM 37 and to reorganize the PRA standards. So again, this is the core work that we do in IPPC. There were a couple of webinars, one on standard setting process and the other on IPPC commodity standards. And then also 2 focus groups, one on sea containers and the other one on safe provision of food and other humanitarian aid. Obviously, you're going to hear about all those things in better details during the course of the week. But I just want to highlight all the important work that's been undertaken under the standard setting unit and the standard setting committee. The other unit or other core work we do is implementation and facilitation. And as you know, Sarah Brunel has been selected as the unit lead. Congratulations, Sarah. As of March 1st this year, just a few weeks ago. So we are very happy about that. And so that's one update. And of course, Dominique is the chair from Canada. Is the chair of the Standard Implementation Committee. And a lot of really good work being done there as well. You're going to hear more about it. 4 e-learning courses, one in pest risk analysis, surveillance and reporting obligations, phytosanitary export certification system, and phytosanitary inspection. This is continue to move forward. IPPC guides for regulation of wood packaging material, e-commerce, emergency management, and guess what? TR4 being finalized. So this is perfect timing to really get together and figure out the best way forward to deal with this TR4 in the most effective way. How do we synergize? How do we bring resources together to make sure that we are consistent and we are effective in dealing with this pest in the most effective way, much like you indicated earlier in this session. Phytosanitary capacity evaluation continues to be undertaken in several countries. And of course, this year we had PCA facilitator training course. So basically train the trainers, if you will. So we have enough experts that can go around and help us with this important work. The next area of core activities is the integration and support. And you've already met this morning, and you know him very well, Mr. Arab Deng, who is the team lead. A lot of work there, a lot of activities, as you know. Of course, we had CPM 16 last year. Then also the the Bureau monthly meetings. We had 10 last year. And I want to really take a moment here and thank the Bureau for being available to help us all with complex issues, being available all time of the day and night, and online, in person, and otherwise. And for that, we are very grateful for the leadership, the support, and dedication. Strategic Planning Group, also, we had one last October. We appreciate that, where we celebrated the 70th anniversary of the IPPC. We've been in business for 70 years, so congratulations. 3 meetings of the TCRPPO also were supported this year, and we appreciate the RPPOs for helping us coordinating our work and sharing knowledge and information across the board. We had the 7 RPPC regional workshops where we all come together in our respective regions and speak about some of the priorities, and so we appreciate that. We had a meeting with IPSAC and ECOWAS, and we'll report on that briefly here in a minute. And then we had also 3 focus groups. One that I'm very excited about, and I'm excited about everybody else too, but the communication focus group has done a really good job and continue to do so. So look forward to hearing more about this communication strategy that's going to help us really get the word out about how important plant health is and how to really advance our mission of safeguarding agriculture and facilitating safe trade. You're going to hear about climate change, a lot of good work there, as well as, of course, the implementation of the strategic framework, and look forward to having really good discussion later on this agenda. I mentioned in the opening remarks the International Day of Plant Health, May 12th every year. But also, as you know, we had this wonderful International Plant Health Conference. And again, I want to thank the UK for really hosting a wonderful, effective, very informative conference this back in September. I wanted to also, part of communication, outreach, and engagement is the newsletter. We revamped the newsletter to make it more interactive. So you're going to hear from me directly, but also from my colleagues in the Secretariat, as well as from everybody in the community. So it's an interactive newsletter, comes every month. If you don't have it, you don't receive it, please let us know. I want to make sure that you receive the newsletter, because there's a little key there that you can click and provide any feedback. It will go directly to us. Okay? This is a new feature, because we want to hear from you. And we need to know what's going right, what's going wrong, what's indifferent, so we can serve you again to the best of our ability. So please take a look at the newsletter and provide your feedback. ePhyto, obviously we all have been hearing and learning about the good news of ePhyto. I think we made a significant progress over the last few years. So increased ePhyto passing through the system from 68,000 last per month in 2021, now to 122,000 in 2022. So we almost doubled the amount of ePhytos being exchanged through the system. So congratulations, everyone. We have now Arabic and French languages version of ePhyto. It's good. And we facilitated the development of digital signature for all GINS countries as well. So we continue to make progress. You're going to hear more about that during the course of the week. So that's the core work that we are focused on. Now, in terms of Secretariat work, internal work within the Secretariat, I want to share with you some things so you know how your Secretariat operates. Okay? First thing is that the management team that you see sitting here, we came together earlier in the year, last year, and evaluated our core values. Why are we here? That's the question we asked ourselves. How can we provide support to our contracting parties in the most effective, efficient way possible? It's another question. What are our core values? So we came up with all the necessary core values that make an organization effective, efficient, with being open, transparent, honest with one another, and basically share information, knowledge, be professional. Not that we're not professional before that, but the emphasis in being efficient, effective, professional, and being honest with each other. And so I'm very excited about that, and we've been demonstrating that for almost an entire year now. So we have weekly conversations with the entire staff within the Secretariat, instead of quarterly or, every week. We get together, huddle, management team does the same thing. We identify problems, issues, challenges, and try to address them to the best of our ability. So that's one. The other thing I want to share with you is this organizational structure. I'm not expecting you to read names and see all the details, but the message that I want to convey to you is this. So if you look at all the boxes, and there are many vacancies, especially in the G staff, I must tell you that we had one G staff. This is Tanya. I don't know if Tanya is here. And then 2 temporary G staff that really helped putting this CPM 17 together with all the travel support and all the logistics. These are the 3 individuals that done all the work. So what I want to show you is that, these color codes. So we have 39 boxes, including consultants, intern, temporary, in-kind contributions, and regularly funded positions. The message I want to convey to you is that basically, out of the 39 positions, 12 are regularly funded, and 4 G staff, and 8 professional positions. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, this cannot be sustainable. And I think it's very important to underscore that secretaries like me come and go, but organization must last to serve the entire community. This way is not sustainable. So it is our commitment to work with the Bureau, work with you, work with FAO, to see to it that to convert some of these temporary positions, seasonal positions, to regularly funded positions, so we can bring about stability. We want to be able to support you, again, consistently, and that's the only way we can do that. So look forward to working with you on that, but I want to just kind of reflect on that a little bit to see some of these issues that we are addressing within the Secretariat. Now, the next topic is a follow-up on CPM 16. And this has to do with the Economic Community of West Africa States, ECOWAS, to become the 11th RPPO. As you may recall from CPM 16, I was basically directed to engage in this issue and follow up and see what's the underpinning cause and how can we come together and move forward in the same direction, if you will. So in June 2022, the RPPC Secretariat hosted a meeting in Rome. The meeting participants included ECOWAS, IPSAC, the African Union. The CPM chair was kind enough to also join us, and the rest of us in the Secretariat. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss the underpinning rationale for ECOWAS request and identify a way forward. I think we had all the right people there, and we had really good discussion. And I walked away gratified by how everybody's trying to really come up with good service for Africa. They're trying to help Africa. Everybody had the right intention, and with their mind to focus to help Africa, addressing some of the challenges that Africa is facing. So I'm very grateful about that. Tentative agreement. I want to emphasize tentative agreement, the term tentative, because nothing was finalized. Just to be fair, first, Africa to continue to have one RPPO, and that's the EPSAC. Please, this is tentative. That's basically the tentative agreement. In order to foster the strategic One Africa voice in the international and regional fora. African Union Commission and EPSAC to work together towards strengthening the technical working groups in the regions, in RACs, for effective coordination and implementation of plant health-related activities in the continent. That was one of the outcomes of the way forward. Third, ECOWAS continues its important role in coordinating phytosanitary activities among its member countries, including IPPC standard development and implementation. So that was the tentative plan moving forward. Let me highlight a few action items. IPPC Secretariat to meet with the ECOWAS Commission to basically solidify the support of the Commission for this tentative plan. IPPC Secretariat to meet with the African Union and the Commissioner of Agriculture to do the same. IPPC Secretariat to draft a proposal on Africa's phytosanitary program, APP, with vision to safeguarding agriculture and facilitating safe trade in the continent. Third, fourth, IPPC Secretariat to socialize the concept of APP within FAO, as well as international, regional, and national organizations. We've been able to check the bottom three. And so we've been able to do bottom three. Now, we haven't, and that's why the chair is saying the discussion continues. We understand that ECOWAS has gone through a change in leadership, and so we look forward to engaging the ECOWAS leadership and continue the conversation. But we have yet to meet with the ECOWAS commissioner. So, in our meeting with the African Union Commissioner, basically, we asked the Commissioner on two items. One, wanted to share with her the plan, that's the African Phytosanitary Program, but also we wanted to speak with her about ECOWAS request. And as you heard from her opening remarks, the keynote speech, as well as the message she conveyed to us, the ECOWAS Commissioner stated that African Union Commission has been and is discouraging the establishment of additional organizations in Africa with a view of fostering a one-voice concept for Africa. And as such, they take the position that EPSAC is being recognized as the only RPPO in the continent. That's what they conveyed to us, okay? And that's what we walked away with. So that's basically what we've done so far, and I'll give you more information this evening on that, but then also brief you a little bit more about what we mean by the African Phytosanitary Program. But that's basically where we are on the ECOWAS, Mr. Chair. That's the follow-up from the CPM 16, as you've directed us to do so. With respect to future initiatives, there are two initiatives that I would like to briefly go over with you. One is that the one point that I cannot overemphasize, that everything we do has to be within the context of the IPPC strategic framework. And so, again, I know you are very familiar with that, but I just wanted to highlight that this is what's driving our thinking at the Secretariat. So what is the global? The first initiative is Global Phytosanitary Program, this first initiative. The idea actually came from the ECOWAS, IPSAC conversation. But as we mentioned earlier, and as you all know, all too well, unfortunately, that invasive plant pests continue to cause significant crop damage, 40%, year in and year out. It's costing us $220 billion every year. Has also caused significant impact on the environment, about $100 billion, only in certain regions of the world. If you can expand that to the rest of the world, that number would be much higher. And then, of course, impact on biodiversity. So the work we do in IPPC, the result of the work you do, it really helps with the environment, with biodiversity, it helps with the economy, it helps with food security, all of us. Invasive plant pests have increased by 40% over the last 40 years. This is what the literature is saying. Invasive pests, in spite of all the good work we're doing, we have 46 standards that we're all implementing across the globe. We've done a really good job over the last 20 years. No question about it. Reality is that those invasive pests continue to cause problems and in the incline. So now we have Xylella impacting iconic crops like olives. An olive tree that has been around for 800 years now is being killed by Xylella. We heard about TR4, fusarium, banana fusarium, could have a significant impact, does have a significant impact. We have HLB, or citrus greening, that is destroying iconic citrus production in many parts of the world. We have red palm weevil, we have coffee leaf rust. 30% of the coffee production was impacted, reduced. And many of our colleagues in the coffee producing region can tell you more about it. So for armyworm, spirulina fly, and the list goes on and on and on. So what are we to do in this kind of environment? Climate change has not helped us either. And you see now we're finding pests in areas where not known to occur, because temperature, wind, rain, flooding, all that's moving. The other day we received a request to deal with crazy ants and in some of the Pacific Islands. And they're concerned about it. We understand that. So climate change has not helped. All while the number of people that are going hungry continues to increase. So based on the FAO report, in 2021, 828 million people that are hungry. They go to bed without dinner. That's what we're dealing with. So when you look at the world and see, okay, the regions that are impacted the most by the world hunger, you see, unfortunately, Africa is impacted the most. Same with invasive pests. Fortunately, Africa also has the lion's share of climate change and invasive pests. And so with that in mind, the conversation that we've been having within the Secretariat with FAO, with many of you, subject matter experts, we needed something that can help us deal with these issues in the most effective way, hence the Global Phytosanitary Program. But we know the world is so big, and we can't really start everywhere. Now, it's global in nature, but given all the things that we looked at and the discussion we had with ECOWAS and IPSAC and African Union, we figured maybe we can start in Africa as part of the world that needed help the most. I'm not saying that means that couldn't do this elsewhere in the world. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that there could be a good starting point in Africa. So the African Union Commissioner offered to be a partner, and that's why you see the logo of the African Union along with the IPPC logo there, signifying partnership between the African Union and the IPPC and the rest of us in carrying out this African Phytosanitary Program. And what the Commissioner said is that this could be used as the vehicle to implement the plant health strategy for Africa that was adopted by the African Union over the last couple of years. So the objective of this phytosanitary program is to provide MPPOs the capacity, empower MPPOs to effectively and timely detect plant pests of regulatory, economic, and environmental significance. That's basically the objective. How do you do that? Provide early detection of pests, early warning system, so this way they can prepare, respond, and recover from any introductions in the most effective way. So if a fall armyworm shows up in a small island in West Africa, then we'll have the information, prepare, and be ready to deal with it. It should not happen again. TR4, I'm glad we're talking about it right now, because this also falls under the same approach. So that helps with the safeguarding and the safe trade, the two mission areas. So by having this program in place can help pest surveillance, data management, capacity, and development support, and be able to respond to pest introduction. That's the protection. So it helps MPPOs to fulfill the safeguarding or the protection part of our mission. It will also help with the trade, because when you have the information, now you can establish pest-free areas. Now you can establish import requirements. Now we can actually issue a phytosanitary certificate, signifying that shipment comes from a pest-free area or the shipment is free from pests. So you can bring down the level of interceptions and rejections of shipments, if you will. So you see that how the two will be fulfilled by having a program like this in place. Even Africa is big. 54 countries in Africa. So we can't really go out and implement a program in the entire African continent. So the idea here is that we start with 1 or 2 countries in each of the RECs, they call it, the Regional Economic Community. There are 5 RECs in Africa. So if you start with 1 or 2 countries first, and then provide the support, get the program going, and those who serve as a pilot for the rest of the countries, and then start expanding. Add another 2 countries, year 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. So over the next 5 to 6, 7 years, you can get the entire continent involved in the program. Provide more details tonight, because I don't want to take you through a lot of details, but you are all welcome to certainly come to the meeting tonight across here in the Red Room to talk about this in details. The budget is about $40 million over the next 5 years. In one hand, $40 million is a lot of money. In another hand, it's not really. Okay, when you think about the damage we've been talking about and problems, it's not. It's a very small amount of investment that can help with this issue. So the second initiative, very quickly, I know we're kind of running out of time a little bit, but it has to do with trade. And the trade part of it is that what we are envisioning is that for the Secretariat to serve as the focal point to provide you with the support necessary to implement trade-related ISPMs. If you have a question, you can call us. We'll show you where the standards are, where are the specific parts of the standards. And instead of spending time trying to investigate yourself or research the issue, we are here to support you. So we can support you in 2 different ways. Proactive engagement by providing trainings, webinars, and by the way, we don't intend to reinvent the wheel on this. We have a lot of tools already in place. We put them to work. So that's the proactive training, webinars, etc. And then the responsive interaction by making you aware that we are here and we have subject matter experts that can answer your questions in a timely fashion and accurately. I want to illustrate something so you would know very quickly. So we have successfully adopted ISBN 38, okay? And I don't want you to read all these fine-tuned texts over there, but this is basically the 4 stages that contracting parties go through to successfully have market access and implement. So if you look at ISBN 38 alone, going through the stage 1, this is market access request, phase 2, which is a bilateral phytosanitary discussion, agreement, and then the implementation. If you count the number of ISPMs, discrete number of ISPMs involved to successfully and effectively implement ISPM 38, there are 17 ISPMs. 17. Okay? That's how complex some of these standards are. So we want to be able to provide you with the support in all these complex matters, so you are in a position to make sound decisions. So that's the second initiative. So talked about 2 initiatives. Lastly, I'm getting very close to finish up here. So the last thing is, I want to mention briefly about resource mobilization. I mentioned this morning that without your support, we don't think IPPC would be as effective, and we don't think IPPC can deliver the work that we have been able to deliver. So when you look at this graph, basically what you see on the left-hand side is the budget provided by FAO to IPPC Secretariat. It's about $3.5 million annually, on an average. Okay? Now, the next group of bars there shows the multi-donor trust fund. And it's about between $500,000 to $250,000 on an average. And then projects, this money provided by you to support specific projects, and there too about between $1.6 to $2.2 million on an average. And then lastly, you have the in-kind contribution, and that's basically about an average about $1 million annually. When you combine the multi-donor trust fund, the projects, and the in-kind contribution, it comes to about $3.5 million. So half of the income we receive in the Secretariat comes from you. So, and you see the list of donors here, the multi-donor trust fund, Australia, Canada, Ireland, Finland, Republic of Korea, USA, NAPO, projects. And you already made many comments earlier today. European Union, and Germany, China, Japan. These are important funding, and if it wasn't for that funding, it would be very difficult for all of us to be here and have a quorum, really, in a way. And in-kind contribution, Australia, Brazil, Canada, France, Japan, Republic of Korea, and the United States. So I wanted to take this opportunity and thank you immensely. And this is a true sense of community in IPPC. So not only that you volunteer your time by being here, by serving in committees, by serving in the Bureau, SPG, Technical Working Group, providing your expertise and knowledge to advance the mission of IPPC, but also you're providing resources to make it happen. So if that's not an inspiration for people like me to really do the best I can for you, I don't know what is. So I want to just kind of put this up there to recognize your good support, your good contribution, your good work, and give credit where credit is due. And then also wanted to just state our gratitude to all of you. Lastly, I want to recognize my colleagues in the Secretariat. If I may, Mr. Chairman, if I may ask my colleagues in the IPPC Secretariat to stand up. Rise, please, for a second. Rise. Stand up. Just 1 second. And I know there's some back there. And you also, Karen. Karen writes the report, by the way. It's very, very important. But look around you. This is your team, ladies and gentlemen. And I've been here now as a secretary for almost a year. And I can honestly tell you, this is the most committed professionals I've worked with. And I am very proud of them. They work really hard for you, and for that, I appreciate them. Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, this concludes the report. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Osama. Thank you for your intervention, for telling us what the Secretary has done the past 12 months. Thank you. With that, I would like to open the floor for a few. Okay, let me note. So can you put your up again? I didn't take everything. That's Cook. Cook Islands. Okay, and I see Benin. Let me take everything. The back, I don't see it. Yes, please, you have them all. Yes, Benin. Yes, those figures here. With China. Thank you, and I see Senegal. Okay. European Union, right? Is that European Union? EU. Okay. Okay, I'll start with Cook Island. Cook Island, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you also, Mr. Obama, for your presentation on the IPPC work for the last 12 months. Oh, sorry, for longer than. I mean, for the. Yeah, my apologies. I think I was nervous just having the opportunity to speak. As a contracting party, the Cook Islands, to IPPC, the Cook Islands is grateful for the support received since my tenure as head of ministry and NPPO for the Cook Islands, for the support received to attend the Sea Container Workshop, but also the first International Plant Health Conference in London, including our attendance to the CPM 17. The Cook Islands recently implemented the e-FITO program with the assistance of the Australia Department of Agriculture, but we are also commemorating the Day of Plant Health on May the 12th this year. We have some activities that we are planning to hold on the day. The Cook Islands also values the partnership with IPPC and looks forward to engaging further in the implementation of future initiatives as presented, as well as the IPP strategic framework going forward. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Cook Island. Thank you very much. The next is Benin.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Et comme les autres, je voudrais d'abord remercier le secrétaire pour son leadership. Nous l'avons vu à la tâche, très rompu à la tâche, et donc qui nous a beaucoup apporté, ça je l'avoue. Et je le remercie, le Bénin le remercie sincèrement pour ça. J'ai noté à travers le rapport tout le travail qu'il a fait par rapport à la demande des 15 États membres de la CEDEAO, tout le travail qu'il a fait. Je voudrais suggérer qu'à l'avenir, les consultations aillent vers les demandeurs. Nous sommes les pays, c'est nous qui avons demandé, mais à aucun moment n'avons été consultés. Donc, qu'à l'avenir, qu'on nous demande si réellement nous voulons nous organiser en ORPV. Je pense que nous sommes ici dans une communauté de démocratie par excellence. Et lorsque nous voulons nous mettre ensemble, on ne peut pas nous empêcher à cela. Alors, et je voudrais avouer à la communauté phytosanitaire internationale que j'ai encore beaucoup à apprendre. Parce qu'aujourd'hui, je comprends qu'il n'y a qu'une seule ORPV en Afrique. Mais j'avais pensé qu'il y avait deux. L'Afrique du Nord, le NAPO, l'Afrique du Nord et du Moyen-Orient. Mais aujourd'hui, je me suis rendu à l'évidence. Merci pour cette leçon. Et dire que je voudrais juste utiliser deux de vos mots qui embrassent trop mal les trains. Et le projet que vous avez partagé avec nous commencera avec 2 pays sur 54. Et plus tard, et nous avons estimé que pour optimiser, pour nous organiser et mieux gérer, prendre en charge les préoccupations phytosanitaires dans notre espace, de nous organiser, et nous constatons visiblement qu'on nous en empêche. Le rapport consultatif des ORPV qui nous a été présenté à la CMP 16 fait état de non-objection de toutes les ORPV pour que la requête des 15 États membres de la CEDEAO puisse être reçue. Mais malheureusement, des tentatives hors de la CMP nous ont conduit à cela, à ce que nous observons aujourd'hui. Et je voudrais très humblement implorer la communauté de la CMP à voir de plus près. Les pays sont venus individuellement à la CIPV et qui veulent s'organiser. Je vous en prie, prenez notre requête à sa juste valeur et donnez-la l'importance. La préoccupation, ce que je pourrais noter comme frein à cette requête aujourd'hui, qu'on me dise, vous devez pouvoir garantir la prise en charge de vos participants dans les démembrements de la CPV sur les 10 dernières années. Ça pourrait être un frein. D'abord, apportez-nous cette garantie. Mais ce n'est pas le cas. Et donc, vraiment, c'est de la peine pour nous. Ça, il faut qu'on le dise, parce que avoir une ORPV dans sa région contribue au renforcement des interventions et non à la désorganisation. Je voudrais finir pour dire que permettez-nous de nous organiser. Permettez-nous de nous organiser pour mieux nous prendre en charge. Je vous remercie.
Merci le Bénin. Je voudrais tout simplement informer la Commission des mesures phytosanitaires que pour des exigences d'interprétariat, nous finissons notre session dans 7 minutes, c'est-à-dire à 17 heures. Je voulais juste tout simplement vous informer par rapport à cela. Conclusion, si nous intervenons, essayons d'être un peu plus concis et allons droit au but. Posons nos problèmes. Et nous avons 12 intervenants pour 6 minutes. Voilà. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait? Je vous pose la question. Thank you. The next on my table is China. China, please.
感谢主席。中方很高兴能够参加这次质检委的线下会议，借此机会，中方也对 IPPC 秘书处的卓越工作表示感谢。特别是在新冠疫情流行期间，有效地保证了公约活动的正常开展。中方对新任秘书长奥萨马博士表示祝贺。中方希望在奥萨马先生的领导下 ，IPPC 各项工作能够取得新的更大的进展。中方也将一如既往地支持和配合秘书处的工作。谢谢。
Merci le Bénin. Je voudrais tout simplement informer la Commission des mesures phytosanitaires que pour des exigences d'interprétariat, nous finissons notre session dans 7 minutes, c'est-à-dire à 17 heures. Je voulais juste tout simplement vous informer par rapport à cela. Conclusion, si nous intervenons, essayons d'être un peu plus concis et allons droit au but. Posons nos problèmes et Thank you very much, China. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give the floor to the next two delegation to intervene. And I told you the reason why only. And we try to see what we can do. And we'll end the session and we see what for tomorrow. Thank you. The next is Senegal.
Merci, Monsieur le Président, de nous avoir accordé la parole. Donc, on félicite véritablement le secrétariat de la CIPB pour ce travail abattu durant cette période. Ce qui nous a le plus intéressé, évidemment, c'est ce qui a été fait dans l'évaluation des capacités phytosanitaires, comme c'est le cas présentement au niveau du Sénégal, avec l'appui, disons, de nos partenaires, comme l'Alliance mondiale pour la facilitation des échanges et la coopération internationale allemande. Également, on se félicite véritablement de l'évolution, de la progression de IFITO, avec déjà 3 millions de certificats en 2022 pour 74 pays et 114 pays enregistrés dans le système. Cela dit, nous prenons note du rapport. Maintenant, pour le point concernant l'ORPV, comme il l'a si bien dit, je pense qu'on n'avait pas peut-être la même compréhension de la création d'une ORPV. Parce que pour nous, c'était plutôt pour renforcer l'Afrique, mais pas pour l'affaiblir en réalité. S'il y a des questions, en tout cas, disons, d'intérêt majeur qui nécessitent une position africaine, là, je pense qu'effectivement, avec le CPI, les ORPV peuvent se retrouver pour effectivement parler d'une seule voix. Mais pour des questions techniques de protection des cultures, chaque région a ses spécificités. C'est dans ce sens qu'on avait réellement songé à créer une ORPV au niveau des États membres de la CEDEAO. Donc pour renforcer et non pour affaiblir l'Afrique. Pour le programme maintenant phytosanitaire africain, certainement on nous donnera plus de détails. Parce qu'en réalité, jusqu'à présent, on nous le dit, mais on ne connaît pas encore les tenants et les aboutissants. Là, on aimerait véritablement avoir une session pour que ça, pour en tout cas qu'on éclaire davantage notre lanterne. Voilà, merci beaucoup au secrétariat quand même.
Merci Sénégal pour votre dernier point. C'est pour cela que cet après-midi, juste après la session, nous avons, le secrétariat invite les pays africains pour une session sur le programme phytosanitaire africain à partir de 17h30. Votre question sera répondue. Next, it's EU. EU have a floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, to give us the floor. As we have done also in response to the Chair's report, also here on behalf of the EU and its 27 member states, let us thank the Secretariat for the report and express our appreciation for the work accomplished by its staff. Let me use the International Plant Health Conference as an example of an excellent achievement that contributed to some much-needed promotion of plant health issues. Mr. Chairman, the staff of the Secretariat is instrumental for the implementation of the IPPC work program and for achieving the objective of the strategic framework. It is therefore imperative that we have sustainable and motivating working conditions for the staff of the Secretariat. As we are afraid of, and as you said, we seem to be rather away from such a situation, and we would like to use this opportunity and call on the IPPC contracting parties and the IPPC Secretary to try to use any appropriate opportunity for bringing the issue into the attention of the FAO. Mr. Chairman, let us also use the opportunity to congratulate Mrs. Sarah Brunel on her appointment as lead of the implementation facilitation unit of the Secretariat and wish her every success with her assignment. And let me just say one word about your future initiatives, which you just mentioned, but I wouldn't like, which Mr. Osama mentioned, I wouldn't like to rush into them now. We are happy to do it later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, EU. With that, I'm afraid we have to stop here for today. I wish that the CPM notes the Secretariat report. Thank you very much for noting. So we're going to stop here for today. We are ending our session. Tomorrow we'll come with, we start with agenda item 15.4, Friends of the Chair before, okay. Yeah, sorry, we have, yeah, I'm too fast. Tomorrow morning we're going to start with the SPG report. And then after that, that's the point number 8. And then we come back to, we proceed to the 15.4. So thank you very much. Before ending, I'm going to give the floor to Arab for briefly some of the announcements.
Thank you once again, Chair. I'm going to repeat only 2 major announcements. One of them is the existence of a prayer room, that is A250 Ter. A250 Ter, that is a prayer room, and those who want to have meditation can go to that room anytime during the day for prayers. Kulwag room is open today, tonight up to 8 p.m., but tomorrow it will close at 6:30 p.m. So you can leave your belongings there and pick them at 8 today. So that's the information. For those who have not collected the DSA, the room D202 will be open for you tomorrow morning. I understand from 9 up to 1. So this is all. I forget about the African meeting. And lastly, there will be a meeting with the African group this evening. It's actually from 5 to 7. 5. Yeah? 5 to 5:30. Yeah. Yeah. 5:30. Okay. It is from 5:30 to 7:30 this evening, and it will be in the red room, just next to this room here. So all are invited. For those who are having interest of attending that, they can also attend. The other CP members who are having interest of attending that meeting, they can also attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Arab. Thank you, everybody. We're meeting close for today. Let's meet again tomorrow at 9:30. Thank you.